The Ugandan president is one of the African leaders who is fighting against corruption in his country. He refused to increase his salary after receiving over 3 million monthly, and he warns Ugandans against corruption, most especially the officers and the citizens, that corruption will surely fight back. And he wants Africa to be free of corruption.
I still remain, up to now I get a very low salary. Between 1986 and 1996 I was getting 150,000 shillings. That was my salary. But I was the president of Uganda and the commander-in-chief. And if you doubted that, so those who doubted it, some of them are not here. My authority is not depending on the salary. Now in 96, these MPs tricked me and I accepted to go to 3.6 million. Because we agreed that nobody should go above that. 3.6. Afterwards, they increased their salaries. So somebody increased theirs, I said no. The SFC were asked by, I was asked by General Mozi Kainerugaba to involve the SFC in doing the Kampala roads, the potholes. Because in Kampala you have got potholes. Up country the roads are good, many roads are good, but here you are very rich in potholes. Now some companies had quoted 12 billion shillings to do those potholes. Now, Dr. Saka told me the other day that the SFC, because there is an SFC engineering brigade, can do that work at 2.7 billion. So you look at the wastage. How can this be? A work that can be done for 2 point something billion, somebody wants 12 billion. You can do 5 times more work. So therefore, you, the people who are in the armed forces, in the police, in the prisons, intelligence service, you really know that if you associate yourself with corrupt people, you are the worst enemy of your country. You are cheating your own parents. These roads are for our people, our parents, our sisters, so therefore corruption. And we are really going to crush it, I can assure you. Don't think that we always go slowly, but you know what eventually happens. This was the problem of the UPC. The UPC thought they were very clever. We tried to advise them. They wouldn't listen. But we couldn't abandon Uganda. We had eventually to clash with them. So the corrupt groups, wherever you are, in UPDF, in the prisons, in the intelligence service, in the prison, in the public service, please, we shall deal with you, because we are getting more and more information. But I would prefer if people are okolokoka themselves, and we don't want to ruin the careers of anybody. But we can't accept this, because now it's quite now a problem. It's quite a problem. I think the investigating agencies were not active, and that's how impunity grew, and people think they can do bad things and nobody will know. But I know, in fact, in many cases I know the only problem that I don't have the proof to crush somebody's corrupt practices. Now, therefore, I welcome you young people into the prison services, and as I advised you when I was here, I was saying, why don't you use the engineers whom you have to build your own barracks and offices, so that the only expenditure is on materials. Because you remember, when you involve so-called private sector, I really don't want to hear private sector in the armed forces. Private sector doing what? You have engineers, they know how to build. What they need is materials. Because remember, when you involve the private sector, many of these Ugandans don't have their own money. They borrow money from banks, and the bank charges them here 20% or 18% or something like that. So, if the cost was 10 million, it now becomes 12 million because of the bank loan which the so-called contractor has borrowed. It becomes now 12 million, added 20%. Then these companies are greedy. They want big profit, 20% profit for the company now. That's another 2 million. So it's now 14 million. Then, because it is a private, it is a business, they pay VAT, another 18%. Oh, that's now an extra 48 added to the others. 58, almost 60. Then many of the companies don't have their own transport. They need to hire. So you find something that was 10 million has now become 18 million. What are you looking for? Why don't you really strengthen, and we struggle with the money to get the materials and labor for. But this now means that you should stop jealous, Nyoko, in our Luo language, Obujja. Because these engineers who are with you now, the government has now said let them be paid higher salaries, because we need them more urgently than a historian like me. Literature, I can recite for you what Shakespeare said, but what Shakespeare said does not build a building. So, if you have this engineer, why don't you pay her or him well? Because we need him, we need her now. Yes, the historian will also be paid when you have enough money to pay both the one we need immediately and this literature man, Yoweri Museveni, who knows what Shakespeare said, who knows what, okay, thank you very much, you are very clever, you can remember. But we want a building, we don't want Shakespeare. So now I don't want to hear that the scientists, the engineers especially, and the doctors in the prison services are being underpaid because they must be below the Commissioner General must be above them, and then mambo ya ujinga tu. I celebrated 50 years of marriage recently. I'm a big man in my house. But my children can do better than me. They can know more things, do more, the grandchildren. I don't have to compete with them. If they get more, let them get more. I still, up to now, I get a very low salary. Between 1986 and 1996, I was getting 150,000 shillings. That was my salary. But I was the president of Uganda and the commander-in-chief. And if you doubted that, so those who doubted it, some of them are not here. My authority is not depending on the salary. Now in 96, these MPs tricked me and I accepted to go to 3.6 million. Because we agreed that nobody should go above that. 3.6. Afterwards, they increased their salaries. So Museveni increased theirs. I said, no. I don't want to Kisarani Chamwe. I don't want to be with your Kisarani. Mugere weka. So I still get the 3.6 minus 20%, which I gave to the NRM Secretariat. I don't know where they put it. That's their business. So I get 2.7 million. But I am president of Uganda. If you are not sure about that, if you say, who is this man to tell me he's getting the whole salary, then you're going to find out who he is. So please, Commissioner General, don't mix your power and authority with salary. Salary, when there is food, we allow the children to eat fast. I never saw the Nyankore elders eating fast before the children. No. So let the engineers who are in the police be paid a bit more than even you, the commissioner this, commissioner that, commissioner that. We shall increase that salary later so that they do the work. They do the work and they are not tempted because they are because you know of literature of Shakespeare. If you sack me from here, you may not get